Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's Healthy Republic. I want to welcome back our friend Austin Fletcher. You know him as Fleccas Talks, or the Spoon Man, and now is Red Alert Politics' newest 30 Under 30 honoree. Also, he is the United States Post Office's biggest fan. Austin, thanks for taking some time today.
Hey Katie, thanks for having me. Always good to be with you.
All right, so today we want to talk about your latest video. You left the comforts of the LA life and you headed out to the Midwest to the Ohio State University to talk to some protesters about Ben Shapiro speaking for the Young America's Foundation. Now, I'm in the Midwest myself, and it's very different from LA life. So when you went to Ohio State, what did you see there? How did it compare to maybe what you've seen out in LA?
So out in LA, you definitely have your fair share of crazy people. But when I was heading to Ohio State, I figured these would be college kids. These would be people that were more informed and maybe, looking to hear two sides of a discussion and actually challenge their thoughts and beliefs. So I was going into it with an open mind, hoping to have a conversation and just hear the other side and offer my opinion as well. But when I got there, it was the same thing I see in California. It was the Nazi go home chant. It was people, threatening violence, even getting a little violent themselves. A lot of ad hominem attacks. It was just, the same old stuff that we've been seeing from the radical left for the last 4 or 5 years.
And you always take this approach with people. You don't go up there and, shove the spoon in their face or anything. You actually just want to have a conversation. And so this time you said, hey, are you here? Are you for or against Ben? And they would say, mostly they're against. And then you would say, well, how does that work with the Constitution? But there's a new study out by the Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness, and they found that 8 out of 10 Americans can't name the 5 freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. So it's kind of, no wonder, no shock that they weren't able to say anything of relevance that was important.
Yeah, and I found them a lot of times having to, feeling obligated to side with the group they were in. I asked one young woman, I said,
does he have the right to speak under the Constitution, you think?
Shut Shapiro down! Sure he has the right, but we have the right to protest against him, so.
I said, oh, I totally agree, but the mob that you're with is shouting, shut Ben Shapiro down, shut him down, shut him down. Do you agree with that? And she kind of gave me a hesitated for a second, just was like, yeah, I do. So it's kind of unfortunate because the mob dictates the morals and the beliefs of the group, even though there are individuals within the group that don't necessarily fall into, believing all the things the mob believes. So with the right, we see a group of individuals, but with the left, we see that they're, obligated to stay within the group. There's no real room for individual thought.
You saw, when you looked at the video, you could just see when this light bulb went off, not of actual thought, but of, oh, this is the time when I'm going to say my one line that I've been instructed to basically say. And there were a few incidents that you kind of had. I want to talk a little bit about Santa Marks, or Krampus. He looked like a sociology professor I once had. And what was really intriguing about him, because he was in there a couple times throughout your video, when he said, I'm working. Tell me about that situation.
Yeah, we were talking with him, and one of the guys who was a Ben Shapiro supporter said, we don't probably disagree. We want to just have a conversation. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to tell you ours and see where we disagree. And he was threatening violence, getting in front of people, getting in their face, pressing them physically, getting up in their face. And then when he refused to answer, he said, I'm working.
Why won't you talk to me?
What year?
Why won't you have a civil conversation? I'm working.
50, 60.
You're working, so they're paying you.
Do you go here?
They're paying you.
Big if true, breaking news, he's being paid to be here.
And everyone kind of freaked out by that because, as we know, paid protesters, people think they exist, people think they don't. To hear someone say, I'm working, was pretty interesting.
And then you actually had another man who called you a fascist, and I know you can hold your own. We know you're a former D1 lineman, but how close were you to hitting the guy who called you a fascist, and then he hit your microphone?
Yeah, so he asked if I support the police, and I said, I do. And he said, that makes you a fascist. And he grabbed my microphone and kind of got a little physical with me. I just kind of stood my ground and told him I'm not here to fight. I don't ever try to escalate in situations like that. They kind of meet me with this energy. I'd rather hit him with this and bring him back down rather than go here and boil it up. So I just kind of played it cool. I would never start a fight. I would never throw the first punch, but I am, willing and capable when it comes to defending myself if things were to get violent.
One more thing that you had that was really quite interesting are the posters that were seen at this specific protest. And those protesters, people were writing on that, Reagan's dead. Tell me about what happened with that situation.
Yeah, they were chanting and screaming, Reagan's dead. They were screaming, McCain's dead. And then with the posters, they had, so YAF, the people who were running the event, who were running the Ben Shapiro speech, they were giving out posters of Reagan just kind of looking cool, like in like a cowboy outfit from, years ago. And the socialist club on campus stole the posters and then were drawing X's over the eyes. And they were writing, Reagan's dead. One guy wrote, I'm glad Reagan's dead. So we were on a public campus. I figured I'd get them all on camera. If that's their message they want to share with hundreds of thousands of people, no problem. We'll be happy to show you. And once I did that, people kind of got embarrassed. They couldn't really answer the question as to why that was a good idea to, hold these signs up and say those things. It really is a shame because I remember not too long ago, we were able to have political discourse. We were able to have holidays with families where people could disagree and people would disagree to disagree, and that was it. Maybe it gets a little heated, but that's it. Now we're at the point where the left's taste in class is completely out the window, and they're really unhinged to the point where they're making Reagan's dead jokes. It's just no upside there. I don't see many people from the rational left wanting to be associated with that either. So for as bad as it is, I think it's driving more rational people who are from the left and center left closer to the right.
Austin, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Make sure you have a great day, everyone. Go check out what Fleccas Talks is doing on YouTube.